You're watching the Urban Debate on Mirror. Now, I'm Faye D'Souza. In 2012, Gauri Lankesh, an activist and a respected senior journalist, made a speech after members of the Bajrang Dal attacked a group of young girls and boys who were celebrating a birthday at a rented home in coastal Mangalore. This speech led to a police case being filed against her by one Deepak Ravindra, a right-wing activist who alleged that she was outraging the sentiments of Hindus. 10 days before she was to appear in court and provide a written statement of her speech, Gauri Lankesh was shot and killed in cold blood at her home in Bangalore by shooters on a two-wheeler who then fled the scene. Now, we know that what followed was nationwide outrage and political theatrics, including some shocking trolls on social media who suggested that she had it coming to her or she deserved it. But while the murder of Gauri Lankesh perhaps received the most national media glare, this was not the first murder of its kind. This was the fourth such murder to take place in the 4 years between 2013 and 2017. 3 other vocal, outspoken activists were also murdered by bike-borne assailants in a shockingly similar way. Govind Pansari, Narendra Dabholkar and Kalburgi were all harshly critical of right-wing outfits. They were all shot at and killed point blank. And there's more. Forensic reports show shocking similarities in these murders. To begin with, one of the guns, or one of the two guns used in the murder of Govind Pansari matches the gun used in the murder of Narendra Dabholkar. The second gun from the Govind Pansari murder matches the gun used in Kalburgi's murder. And ballistic signatures of the bullets that were used to kill Kalburgi and Gauri Lankesh are a perfect match. The modus operandi of all 4 murders were exactly the same. 2 people showed up on bikes, they shot their victim point blank and then fled. The connection is undeniable. These murders were undoubtedly carried out by the same Supari killers. But the question to ask is, were the people who gave the orders for the murder of these 4 individuals also connected? What stands out for me is the similarity also in the ideology of the victims. Kalburgi and Gauri Lankesh shared some of the ideology, and they were also extremely critical of right-wing politics. Let's take a look at some of the evidence. Now, the Karnataka police has so far arrested 6 people in the connection of the Gauri Lankesh murder. 5 of them, 5 out of 6, have links to right-wing groups. The Sanatan Sanstha and its subsidiary, the Hindu Jan Jagruti Samiti, or the HJS. One is linked to the Sri Ram Sene. The prime accused, Naveen Kumar, has also been spotted with Pramod Muthalik. You'll remember Pramod Muthalik. This was the person who led the attack on the young girls in the pub in Mangalore. He's also the head of the Sri Ram Sene. He's been seen with the prime accused at some of his meetings. Now, Muthalik, of course, has distanced himself, saying he's a patriot working for the country and that's why he's being targeted. The other arrested, Amol Kale, is said to be a member of the Hindu Jan Jagruti Samiti and the Sanatan Sanstha. 2 more accused who have been arrested, Amit and Sujit, have confirmed to be linked with the Sanatan Sanstha. A charge sheet also names Mohan Gowda, the state spokesperson of the Hindu Jan Jagruti Samiti, who is disassociated with himself with the matter as well. Now that the case is getting stronger, we need to know 2 things. One, who killed Gauri Lankesh? Which means who pulled the trigger, but also who gave the order, who was the mastermind behind it. Because not only do we need to find out who was behind all of this, whether right-wing or otherwise, because not only do we have to give Gauri Lankesh the justice she deserves, but given the similarity of the murders we are seeing, delay in cracking this case could put into danger lives of other rationalists, because apparently this is a pattern. Who killed Gauri Lankesh? And is it time that the scanner now moves towards the Sanatan Sanstha? That's the question we're asking this evening. Joining me on the show, Brijesh Kalapa for the Congress Party, Vijay Jolly, leader of the BJP, Dhanraj Vanjari, former ACP Mumbai, Amit Khemka, an advocate with the Delhi High Court. Mukhtar Dabholkar is the daughter of Mr. Narendra Dabholkar. Indrajit Lankesh, the brother of Gauri Lankesh, and Naveen Chomal is an advocate who represented the Sanatan Sanstha briefly. Mandar Fanse, senior editor, Mirror, now joining me in the studio. Mandar Fanse, I'm going to start with you because, like I just called out the information right now, this is all the information we have that's confirmed so far. But we were talking about the people who have been arrested and who will be or most likely named in a supplementary charge sheet. There are links that are undeniable at this point to the Sanatan Sanstha. Is that not true?
Absolutely true, and not just Sanatan Sanstha. The Hindu Janajagrati Samiti is also basically is an offshoot of the Sanatan Sanstha, because the people who were addressing the press conference so far from Hindu Janajagrati Samiti and Sanatan Sanstha are found to be the same people. Apart from that, not just these 4 murders, it has got a link of 2009 Madgaon blast, which has happened in Goa, and that's why the absconding people who are there from that particular blast case are also involved in Dr. Dabholkar's case, and that's why this is all linked thing, not just linked thing. Geographically it is also linked, right from Pune to Kolhapur to Dharwad, when it comes to Kalburgi's murder, and then on in the Bengaluru. So this is all the south part of Pune down south and then till Bengaluru. So this is all connected. Everything is connected, not just ballistic reports. The ideology is connected, the people are connected, the people are found to be known to each other, not just from Sanatan Sanstha and Hindu Janajagrati Samiti, but even from the recent arrest, which is showing that the Sanatan Sanstha people and the Shri Ram Seni people were also in close ties with each other. So this is all said and done, seems to be one plot under one umbrella, and yes. Then we need to find out who's the master.
Mandar, here's the case. Here's the question I want to ask you. We know former ATS chief Rakesh Maria at one point put in a request that the Sanatan Sanstha be banned as an organization. Do you believe it's time to relook at that request?
Absolutely, and then when it comes to such a strong evidence against one particular organization, especially people are involved. Dr. Virendra Tawade, who is now right on the bail, is from Sanatan Sanstha, who was involved into both the cases, especially as an accused, and therefore the very linkage itself is creating doubt. Not just linkage, there are a number of ample other evidences where most of the other peoples, there are almost a list of 30-40 odd people who have been threatened by people from Sanatan Sanstha and various related organizations as well, when it comes to various statements by those people. Either they are rationalists, either they are journalists, or for that matter they are criticizing some of the other festivals. So this is what has happened continuously, and then the day by day, years on years, nothing has been happening, especially on the cyber threats. Also, there are so many various Sabic words which have been pronounced by Sanatan Sanstha against individuals, and nothing has been done so far.
Absolutely, and I want to bring in the rest of my panelists at this point. Let me go straight to Naveen Chaumal. Naveen Chaumal, the investigation is obviously going to lead to the Sanatan Sanstha at this point. Should the appeal to ban this organization as a dangerous organization be reviewed?
See, Sanatan Sanstha is a very big organization, absolutely patriotic and spiritual in its concept and working. You cannot distrust the wisdom of millions of people who are in the Sanstha. They are getting the religious discourses, and nobody has even slightly experienced that there is anything, what you say, terrorist minded element in it or anything which is provocative. But having said so, these people are also strongly acting for, say, anti-conversion activities and protection of Hindu rights in various interiors of the state. So they are definitely on the target of leftist people. For example, Pansare was shot dead. They predicted Sanatan Sanstha in the right-wing activities. Dabholkar was shot dead. They predicted Sanatan Sanstha. Kalsburgi was dead. Again, they said Sanatan Sanstha. And when Gauri Lankesh was shot, again they predicted Sanatan Sanstha. And now we know the pattern of the Congress regime. And the investigating agencies working under the Congress.
All right. So Naveen Chaumal, couple of things. One is
Congress has got nothing to lose. So
No,
they
hang
are
on. This is
indulging in
no,
a
but
dirty
okay,
tactics
all right. I
that
understand what you're saying.
that
But there were two
go
of
to
these
any
investigations
extent
were
to
conducted by
blame this
BJP
Sanatana
state
Sanstha.
governments. They were not all. There are four investigations we're talking about. Not all of them were conducted by Congress governments. Two were conducted by BJP state governments,
I agree.
and they
I
all
agree.
pointed. The suspects were from the Sanatan
but-
Sanstha. So, are you refuting the evidence that is currently before us?
No. No, kindly appreciate that BJP government came in 2014, whereas Dabalkar was shot dead prior to that, and there was already the leads trying to show towards Sanatana Sanstha, which was fabricated.
Even
So,
rest of the two
let
murders were
total
happened
charge sheet be filed.
during the
We will
BJP regime
definitely tell
itself.
to Sheds
So,
also.
especially Comrade Pansare's murder was happened during the BJP regime in Maharashtra.
This is definitely. But what had happened is, for example, in that case, the investigation was given to the very same person, Gopinath Nair, the infamous investigating officer from Kerala, who was anti-Hindu and pro-Congress, against whom there has been
Alright, let
strictures
me
also
bring in
passed by the
Brajesh
Supreme
Kalapa
Court.
to respond to that.
This
Brajesh
man has
Kalapa?
been doing his duty to please the Congress bosses.
Brajesh Kalapa, Naveen Chomal alleges that this is all, the Congress is behind this right now, but the fact that you also represent the government of Karnataka, my question to you is very simple. Who killed Gauri Lankesh? How soon before we know, since you are running that investigation as the government of Karnataka?
First, I must tell you, Faye, that if this was allowed for everybody, then everybody would claim that, look, I am being victimized and I am not the one who has committed the crime. This would be stated by Asaram Bapu, by the PFI, who has been responsible for the Rudresh murder case, and they are on the verge of being banned. But for some reason, the BJP government is prevaricating on that issue. And this would be a stand which every single accused will take, that look, there is a political color to this, and therefore I'm being framed, and therefore they would have a lawyer like Mr. Chomal who will come on national television and say that, look, this is all totally political, and this is a alibi which is available to each and every accused in this country. If this kind of an alibi on national television that this is Congress sponsored or that this is politically motivated, then this is stated, this is something which anybody would have stated. And even if somebody like Godse, even after having shot, would have laid the gun down and said that, look, this was all Congress sponsored. And so this was something which I can never be held responsible for. So it's, I think this is really dumbing down the debate. And it's a very simple thing to say that, look, this is all politically motivated and so on and so forth. I think it's the dumbest thing possible to say. It's dumbing down an entire debate. There are police officers who have worked day and night to be able to crack this. And every time you were asking us questions that, look, why has this not been cracked? Then certainly this has been cracked with the help of people in Maharashtra. Would he say then that those police officers who have cooperated with us, they also belong to the Congress party? So these are questions which I think everybody must ask themselves. And the second part is that there is a chilling similarity to all the four murders. And all the four murders have taken place against people who have spoken extensively against this kind of right-wing activism. And this these right-wing activists, incidentally, were the ones who were paying for their blood, all of these four. Incidentally, after their death, the right-wing rejoices as if it's a great occasion. And, now for us to believe cumulatively that, look, it's all, Congress-sponsored, or that, this entire thing is politically motivated, I think is making, the entire investigation process hours of time which very capable, very able police officers have actually put together. I think it's something, cocking a snook at them. It's
right,
terrible.
let's
This is not something which
let's-
is ever to be stated at all by anybody. It cannot be.
Please, may I come with a very short reply?
All right, Naveen
Very short
Chauhan.
reply to Brajesh Kalappa.
All right, Naveen Chomal, quick rebuttal, please.
Well, it is not so that every criminal should be given that alibi to say that it is a Congress-sponsored thing. But we are speaking from the records that the Congress has got a dirty record of trying to malign the Hindu activists for a very long time. And each case, there has been egg on the face of Congress, right from Samjhauta bomb blast case to Malegaon bomb blast case. And even regarding the Goa bomb blast thing, they tried to implicate people from Sanatan Sanstha, and it proved to be damn squib for the Congress. So that is on the basis of that logic and records, I am saying that even in these cases they are trying to falsely implicate Hindu activists.
Let me bring in the rest of the panelists at this point, because now you're just trading allegations. I want to talk to Indrajit.
Let me just answer that, Faye. I think the reason for certain people being let off in the Malegaon blast has been stated by Rohini Salian. Rohini Salian, who is the prosecution
Brijesh, we're getting derailed.
Clearly stated for what reasons these people were let off. I don't think it's necessary.
Right, okay. Indrajit Lankesh is the brother of Gauri Lankesh. Indrajit, Mr. Lankesh, thank you for joining us. Mr. Indrajit, thank you for joining us. My question to you, Indrajit Lankesh, is this. There's obviously going to be a political song and dance around everything, but the investigation right now points to a certain organization. Do you believe that the Sanatan Sanstha may have been behind this murder, or do you believe it very simply that they should be looked into?
Without getting political,
yes, please.
Without getting political, I was just following the case, and sorry I couldn't hear the discussion because there was audio failure. So I just want to say, without getting political, from the case what I have followed, first they had named Naveen Kumar and Praveen, and all these people belong to the Sanatan Samstha. And Sanatan Sanstha, after 2 days, they had a press conference and they said that we have nothing to do with that. Then after that, now Parashuram is arrested. Of course, I praise the SIT. They are doing a good job. They are at it because under the Siddaramaya's government, the investigation had come to a standstill. For whatever reasons, now under Kumar Swamy, whatever the investigation has picked up, and they've arrested Naveen and Praveen and now Parashuram. So when Parashuram's arrest, they are saying that it's from Sri Rama Sene, but again the Sri Rama Sene has denied it. And what I've read from the reports, it's Hindu Jagarana Samiti or Vedike or something. Yes. So whatever, I praise the SIT in the first place. And the second thing is, whoever is doing it, this I don't even want to call it as a Hindu fringe elements. It's from some fringe elements which are doing it, who don't even know what Hinduism is. Of course, as everybody knows, Hinduism is for peace. It stands for peace. And from what I know Gandhi's Hinduism and Ahimsa Hinduism. So whoever is killing it, I condemn them, because I've lost my sister. And without getting political, and I don't want to get into this political discussion, but I condemn this. And whoever the killers are, whether they are from the right wing or from the Hindu whatever groups which they belong to, they have to be arrested, and the law will take its course. So from whatever these groups, whichever these fringe elements are calling Hindu Jagaran Vedike, Hindu Samstha or Hindu Vedike or whatever, they don't know anything about Hinduism. We have to condemn that in the first place, because these
Mr. Lankesh, do you believe
from whatever discussions I've heard, there are a lot of similarity. Yeah.
Do you believe that right now the investigation needs to proceed into these organizations, and organizations that are breeding this kind of hate should be banned?
Yeah, of course. That's the reason why I'm requesting now to the SIT, please come out with what organization they belong to, what is their manifesto, whether they are the banned organizations. If they are not, we have to ban them. And these are the fringe elements. And from whatever investigation has happened till now, of course, we have to praise the SIT, and they have to come out with what group this belong, these rowdy elements or these people belong to.
Yes.
So they have to be banned if they're not by now. So they've not yet come, the SIT have not yet come out with exactly which groups they belong to or which Hindu fringe elements they belong to. But right now, whatever is you're discussing about Sri Ram Sene, they have denied it, and the Hindu, what is that? The other Samstha, whatever, they have denied it.
Yes. So what we're saying, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And what we're asking for right now is a thorough investigation into these organizations as well. Dhanraj Manjari, do you believe, like Rakesh Maria had asked for back in, back several years ago, he had asked that this organization be banned, but do you believe that this merits an investigation?
Yeah, of
yes,
course, we'll have to praise them. At least the investigation is taking place, which had come to a standstill.
Dhanraj Manjari, please. Dhanraj Manjari, please go ahead.
Yes. I'm telling you, but for sure, it will influence the police investigation adversely, because whatever reports been sent by police, ultimately it is the government who is supposed to take action upon it. Now, if police is working under the government home ministry, I don't think any report sent by police, and if it is not in favor of such organizations, the government will act. I am making this statement only for the reasons that in this country, all the way the people have conspired to take this country towards regressive nationalism. They want a religion-based nationalism to come in this country. Now the Sanatan Sanstha, Hindu Jana Jagrati or Sri Ram Sena are nothing but different tentacles of one octopus. The octopus is so big, it has influence in politics. Apart from Congress or BJP, this discussion would be useless if we go on the political line. Apart from politics, they are so powerful and they are so determined and they are so well conspired, well planned that they are killing the public intellectuals. How these public intellectuals are in their way? They are never personal enemy to anybody, but they are enemy to certain ideologies whose ideologies are taking this country to the dogs, and they want the young generation should not reach up to the truth and the public intellectual what they are deposing. So it is very simple that these are the ideological elimination. They are killing the people who are trying to tell them the truth of this country, who are trying to tell them the truth of their existence, who are trying to tell truth to this coming generation, that see which highest heritage, legacy of cultural heritage you belongs to. But there are people who are not ready to listen to them. They think these ideologies, these public intellectuals are the threats to them. And they are so well conspired.
What do you have to say about the
Police
ideology
and
of Gauri
governments
Lankesh
can be managed,
when she was
can be
causing
managed.
with Kanhaiya Kumar and Umar Khalid, the Bharat Ke Tukde Tukde gang?
So
what sort of ideology
you
was
suggest
Gauri
she
Lankesh
be shot at,
propagating?
Naveen Chomal?
What is your comment on that, sir?
So you suggest she be shot at, Naveen
No, I'm
Chomal?
just
What
asking when
what is the point you're
drawing
trying to
analogy
make?
between ideology.
I'll definitely,
No, no,
I will
I'm just
definitely,
Vijay-
Mr.
Vijay
Chowdhury, I'll
Jolly-
definitely not
doing
support
in her
any such
ideology
ideology.
when she was
I will definitely
supporting
not
the
support it.
Tukde
Give me a
Tukde
chance.
Bharat.
Kindly listen for a
Why
minute.
the charge sheet
Kindly
is not
listen.
been filed
Gentlemen,
against
gentlemen.
Kindly listen for a minute.
Why has no charge sheet
Kindly
been filed
listen.
against Kanhaiya Kumar
Kindly listen for
over
a
the last
minute.
3 years?
If I am trying
What
to
is wrong?
portray,
What is
if
wrong
I,
with
listen,
Modi
listen.
Sarkar?
If
No,
I
no,
am
all
trying
right.
to
You're all
portray
speaking at the
truthful
same time.
picture,
Vijay Jolly, my question to you.
Listen.
Now, Choman
One
says on
second, one
national
second, one second,
television
one second, one
that,
second.
look,
It is
they have
their
done
habit.
Bharat Tukde Tukde.
No,
Why
wait.
are they
Don't
not
get
filing a
derailed.
charge sheet
This
in
is
that
not
case?
about, we're not talking about what Gauri
let me-
Lankesh believed in.
let me
No, one
answer
second, Mr. Vanjari, if we
Chomal,
address...
You
brought it
cannot
up.
separate the whole
These
issue.
are
You
No,
cannot
we can separate the
them.
issue,
Why
Naveen
Narendra
Chomal. You have
Modi
not read your
government has
constitution.
filed a
I'll
charge
explain
sheet
to you.
against them?
One second, Brijesh Kalapa.
So anything that
Gentlemen.
is inconvenient for you, you are trying to suppress that.
Really?
Push it under the carpet.
Under the carpet? Naveen Chomal, in our country, we are allowed to have whatever
Yes.
opinion we are allowed
See,
to
the
have.
Gauri
You are not
Lankesh
allowed to
conduct-
shoot at people because of their opinion. That
Yeah.
is outlawed by the
No, but she was
constitution. So
openly
what
supporting
was
the
Gauri
Tukde
Lankesh's
gang.
what Gauri Lankesh's opinions were is irrelevant to why she was murdered. Mr. Vijay Jolly of the BJP, is this the country that we live in, where murder is justified based on the victim's ideology? This is what she believed in. So let's talk about that instead of talking about the investigation. Can Vijay Jolly hear me? All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Vijay Jolly, can you hear me? All right, he can't hear me, but I'm going to take that question to Amit Khemka. Mr.
Yeah, I can
Khemka,
hear you.
it's very... Mr. Khemka, it's very easy to distract or derail a conversation saying, let's talk about what she believed in. But what she believed in was irrelevant because nobody has the right to order a murder based on beliefs.
Of course, Faye, what you are saying is absolutely right. Even if let us presume that somebody actually said that is desh ke tukde tukde honge, even then that person cannot be killed. The law has to take its own course. It has nobody on the street, no vigilante on the street can be given a right to kill such a person. And while saying that, let me tell you that you cannot draw any parallels so far as Miss Lankesh was concerned, she was an intellectual of highest possible degree. She was known for her progressive views. So far as she was concerned, there is absolutely no way that you can brand her in those categories like this lawyer friend of mine is wanting to do that. Now, having said that, Faye, I was listening to the whole discussion. What is required now is not only that the police should be able to find out as to who killed, but the police should also be able to, should also go in deep into it as to who provided the logistics, who provided the money, who provided the moral support, who was the one who ordered, and all those links have to be, put together. Unless that is done, and your fear is absolutely right, and Mr. Banjari's, what he talked about, the octopus, you have to go to the belly of that octopus. The investigations have to reach to that place, and unless that is done, these kind of things will continue to happen. The people with progressive mindset, people who would call a spade, they will always remain under attack in the same manner. So it is necessary that the police does not investigate only as to who killed and who put the,
Yes, but also the police also needs to look into where that order came from.
Who was behind
Yes, Vijay Jolly from the BJP. Vijay Jolly, is this the world we live in, where people get death threats, people are shot at based on what they believe in, and we use their ideas as an excuse for murder?
You see, the SIT is already inquiring into the Gauri Lankesh murder case. And the BJP itself had very rightly condemned, along with the RSS, in 2017, when Gauri Lankesh was murdered in Bangalore on 5th of September 2017, because the BJP firmly believes in freedom of journalism and freedom of press in the country. And anyone gunning down even a journalist of Gauri Lankesh caliber, who was always critical of not only the BJP but also of the National Congress, we always consider to be a heinous crime. But equally well, the whole case is at a very sensitive stage, where the SIT is probing the various angles connected to the whole case. We should desist from giving it a religious angle by time and again saying a Hindu Sansthan, a Hindu Sena, because it has become a fashion of the day to target Hindu nationalists in India. And once again, I wish to say, I am not protecting any person from any class of religion state in the country who is involved in any violent act in the country of instigating and participating in any
So,
violent
Mandar, do you
act
want to
in the
respond to
country.
that? So,
But
I mean,
it is
I want to
also
point out to
equally
our
well
audience
so
based on...
that
Yes.
Gauri Lankesh was also accused
okay.
by her
Mukta
own
Dabolkar
brother
will respond.
Inderjeet, when she was the editor of Lankesh Patrika, of aiding and abetting
What does that have to do with her murder?
Tone and tenor of journalism by her own brother. She was also indicted by a court of law in Karnataka for bringing out defamatory articles against
first
some
of all,
politicians of the
one
day,
second,
and
Mr.
she
Jolly,
was,
we have
given
Indrajit
a
Lankesh
punitive
with
fine
us.
by a
One
court of
second.
law. But considering all these facts,
One second.
it does not behove anyone in the country to involve into attacking her, murdering her, and this is a heinous crime.
Okay, all right. So let me just point out a couple of things, Mr. Jolly, if you would let me speak, please.
Agencies in the capital.
Okay, I think, first of all, we have Indrajit Lankesh with us, and he'll clear up whatever you talked about. But bringing up defamation cases, and any journalist worth their salt who's really doing a good job will have defamation cases against them. Bringing that up when we're talking about Gauri Lankesh's murder is really, a tactic that nobody should should pay attention to, because a defamation case, 1 or 2 or maybe even 20, does not give anybody the right to shoot at a journalist. But Indrajit Lankesh, do you want to respond to what Mr. Vijay Jolly said?
I could hear part of it and I couldn't hear part of it. But whatever he's saying, I could hear that, of course, we had our ideological differences, but that doesn't mean that we had to fight for it or something like that. But of course, Gauri had her defamation cases, which any journalist will have. Even I have been facing a lot of defamation cases. So did my father. And that doesn't have anything to do with linking that to a murder.
Yes.
From the beginning, I've been telling, and a senior panelist, I agree with him, that the SIT now have investigated and caught hold of Parshuram and others. Now, actually, the SIT has to actually go and find out who was behind this killing, or actually Parshuram himself did it, or what was the reason, and was it because of the ideological differences. All these things have to be found out, and after that I can really comment on the later part.
Yes.
But apart from what the BJP spokesman was speaking about defamation cases and linking that to murder, I'm sorry to say that every journalist who's doing her job or his job will face defamation cases. And apart from that, I really condemn this act, and whatever ideological differences or whatever you have, it doesn't have to lead to murder.
Yes.
And
Mukta Dabolkar as well.
I've lost my sister, and my sister is murdered. And the only thing I'm asking the SIT is find out what was the reason behind the killing, and who was behind it, and what was their manifesto, and which organization was behind this killing. And if it is already not banned, please ban it.
Please ban it,
and
absolutely.
So-called Hindu Sangatane, or a Hindu organization, they call it, I am saying on my personal capacity that these people don't know what Hinduism actually is. Hinduism, as I said before, it is stands for peace. And these people, whoever is going on killing for this ideological differences, and they say that they are Hindu organizations, the one thing I have to say that I condemn that.
Yes,
and
yes. Let me also bring in Mukta Dabolkar, who's
the SIT and the government concerned to give them
to find out who's at the bottom of
punishment
this.
they deserve.
I just want to bring in Mukta Dabolkar. She's the daughter of Narendra Dabolkar. Mukta ji, please respond to what Vijay Jolly said, that don't bring in right now right wing or left wing. But if we look at the evidence of these 4 murders, it's difficult not to.
It's good that if Vijay Jolly wants to disown the people who say that they are doing something in the name of religion. So I think these are the people who consider that a specific kind of an ideology shouldn't be questioned by anybody. So if BJP wants to disown them, let them understand that they are being disowned by them, and it should be in the news and in the spirit as well. The second thing which I want to talk about is about the defamation that was just referred to. Sanatan Sanstha or Hindu Janajagran Samiti, they have filed many defamation cases against activists, against journalists mainly. And recently, some 2 months back, one of that case was decided in Senior Division Court, Civil Court in Goa. It was against the Goan Observer newspaper. And in that judgment, it is available online as well. In that judgment, it has been said that the journalists are doing their duty by putting forth the issues that are coming up in the society, and so it's not fair kind of to take the journalists to the court on each and every matter in the case of defamation. So this is just like using the constitutional mechanisms to slay the people, to shut down the voices of people who are fighting for upholding the constitution by the people who think that this constitution cannot serve this country. For example, if we think of Sanatan Sanstha, it is not just that the people's name are mentioned in these murders. For example, it is not being said by me, or it is not being said by the journalists that these people's names are linked to Sanatan Sanstha. It has been said by the investigating agencies. the Virendra Tavde, who is arrested in Maharashtra during BJP government, Samir Gaikwad, who is arrested during BJP government. These are the people who are said to be Sanatan Sanstha Sadhakas, because now the Sanstha can go on saying that they were our Sadhakas for some time. So this is one thing that it has been said by them.
So let me...
It is not been said by the people, it is said by the investigating agencies. And just one point, in Supreme Court also, the families of the victim families have moved the Supreme Court also, and Supreme Court has served notices on all these investigating agencies to put forth what they know about it, and they have given a notice to NIA also. Why NIA? Because 2009 bomb blast is being investigated by NIA, in which the people involved, on whom the road corner notice has been served, also are the Sanatan Sanstha Sadhakas. So it's by the investigating agencies, and if you look at the media that they publish, if you look at the articles that they publish, they like ask in their articles like Hindus turn to Naxalism, Hindus like destroy police, they are the real enemies of the state. So I think
yes. I understand what you're saying. And Mandar Fanse, here's the question to respond to Vijay Jolly, and Vijay can hear us right now. And I'm opening this panel up now to everybody. Naveen Chomal had to leave, but everybody else is here. Vijay Jolly said that we should not be talking about any organization so far, and quite rightly, just like Mukta Dabolkar pointed out, the evidence is very stark at this point.
Just the straight question to Mr. Vijay Jolly is that about the ban, because there is a proposal pending with the central government, sent by the state government, present state government, that is Shiv Sena BJP Shiv Sena government in Maharashtra. They have sought the permission for banning this particular organization in 2017. That is just a year back. And that proposal is still pending with the central government, that too under UAPA, whereas the Pune police recently have done some activity, act against some activities, and that they have immediately gone ahead with acting upon UAPA. Then why the state government in Maharashtra is still waiting for acting under the UAPA, and why the central government is also waiting with this particular proposal? Mr. Jolly.
You see, I wish to state on this particular aspect that it is very interesting to hear your comments, and it is very interesting to state on this very esteemed panel. At the first instance, I had very categorically stated, I am not holding a brief for any organization or any people who are accused of having participated in the murder of a very esteemed journalist, Gauri Lankesh. As a BJP worker, we have always stood for the freedom of press in India. And the BJP was one of the first parties to have condemned Gauri Lankesh murder. But it is also very interesting to state on this TV panel that Gauri Lankesh adopted children were not you or me. It was her own adopted children who were the anti-India and genuine.
What happened to the Maharashtra government?
No, hang on. Vijay Jolly, we are not going down this Jignesh Mevani route, I'm sorry.
Please,
what happened to the application that was put forward by the state government of Maharashtra to ban the Sanatan Sanstha?
With attention, please give me a minute to complete my submission. And when at a time, her whole case is being investigated by SIT in Karnataka, when
Kalburgi.
The other Kalburgi's case is also being investigated by the Karnataka CID police. Who are you and me to demand a predetermined with a mindset a ban on certain organizations whose complicity in the whole case has not been established in the court of law the investigative agencies.
All right,
It is
Brajesh
only a
Kalapa,
mere
Brajesh Kalapa
hearsay.
responds to this, but I just want to point out, it is not us who are demanding. Former ATS chief Rakesh Maria made this demand. Also, the current government of Maharashtra that's run by the BJP and the Shiv Sena have made this demand as well. So it's very easy at this point for Vijay Jolly to point out who Gauri Lankesh was friends with, who she had adopted, who she was helping go through college, whatever her private life or her public life was. None of it is any excuse for shooting her. And that is something we should keep in mind. So all of these other arguments are completely irrelevant when it comes to her murder. What she thought of, who she sat down with, who she had dinner with, none of it matters. So if you're constantly going to bring up this stuff, you're doing it to distract from the main point. Brajesh Kalapa, should the Sanatan Sanstha be banned?
I have no doubt in my mind that if there is material, then any organization which has terrorist linkages or involves itself with terrorist activities ought to be banned. But I was very amused after listening to Mr. Jolly. On the one hand, he tries to offer platitudes to Gauri Lankesh while also try to somehow sully her memory. Because on the one hand, he spoke earlier about a defamation case, and you rightly pointed out that defamation cases are something are badges of honor for good journalists. And now he speaks about her association with Kanhaiya Kumar. Look, the BJP is in office in the center. The BJP has not been able to file any single charge sheet against Kanhaiya Kumar and the rest of them for the last 3 years. So where is the point of speaking about Kanhaiya Kumar having been adopted by Gauri Lankesh? Does it take the matter any further? First, file a charge sheet. First, get your government to file a charge sheet against Kanhaiya Kumar and the others.
Yes.
Otherwise, what you have been saying, Desh ki tukde tukde and all that, it's already been proven by the public that it's all a very bad lie. It was something which had been, actually foisted on these people. So
Yes.
where is the point of
Yes,
bringing
Amit
all
Khemka,
that?
and I want
then
a- I
try
want a
to sully the
purely
memory
legal
of
view
Gauri
here.
Lankesh. I must point
Yes.
out,
Yes.
at a personal level, that Gauri Lankesh was somebody I knew very personally, and she was a friend of mine. And I would certainly say that trying to sully her memory like this, in this manner, as if, he's very concerned about her death and so on and so forth, is not going to cut eyes. Look, the BJP ultimately is trying to say both things. It's a duplicitous stand. On the one hand, they say that, look, we are very sympathetic about the murder. And then on the other hand, it's best to divert the whole debate into some other side spin. This is something which the BJP has consistently been doing. I would only like to ask, both the Pansare and the Dabolkar murders are much earlier to Gauri Lankesh or Kalburgi. Why is the BJP government not been able to do anything in regard to find out who the murderers were?
That is what I say, irrespective of
Yes.
any government.
Absolutely, and I'm just going to ask Amit Khemka this question. Amit Khemka, purely legal view here. Whether or not Gauri Lankesh had adopted Kanhaiya Kumar or Jignesh Mewani, and at one point after her death, people were talking about the fact that she may secretly be Christian, like that is a crime in this country. The truth is, nothing will allow or gives anybody the right to shoot another individual in this country based on their beliefs, based on their statements, based on their friends, based on their choice of dinner, based on whatever they might write in a newspaper. Isn't that true?
See, look, Faye, anybody who wants to use religion for political gains, be it Hindu fundamentalists, be it Muslim fundamentalists, when they are shown the mirror, it is very inconvenient to them. People like Gauri Lankesh were the ones who were showing the mirror to both. They were not only showing them, and they were showing the mirror to everybody who was against the public spirit, against the constitution of this country. So these kind of people are obviously very, very difficult people. They are not liked by anybody. That is the whole problem. In our country, the Muslims learn from a Maulvi who doesn't even know fully about Islam, and Hindus learn about Islam from a Panditji who doesn't even know fully about Hinduism. So that is the whole problem. we are being taught by these kind of so-called organizations, we are being taught the definition of religion which is not the correct definition of our own religion. I mean, after all, we were always taught right from the childhood that when a person is dead, you don't criticize that person, you don't talk ill of that person. Here are the organizations who are talking all kinds of nonsense about a dead person rather than talking about as to who killed her. Now that is not Hinduism at all. I don't think that is Hinduism. So that, and I told you that even if somebody says that desh ke tukde tukde honge, you cannot, nobody has the right to kill that person. It is only the law which has the right to kill that person. It is only after going through the process of law that that person can be hanged. There is no other way out. There is nobody who has the right to kill that person or take that person to any task.
Well, I just want to point out one thing. Now, the Sanatan Sanstha prints a newspaper or a magazine called the Sanatan Prabhat. In 2013, after Dr. Narendra Dabolkar was shot and killed, the Sanatan Prabhat published this, and I quote, "Everyone gets the fruit of his karma. Instead of dying of illness and in a bedridden state or a painful death after an operation, the death of Dabolkar met with was the grace of God." If that is not pure venom, I don't know what is. And it simply boils down to this. We've run out of time, unfortunately, and we thank, like we said, the SIT that is working really hard to find out who the murderers of Gauri Lankesh was. But we also need to find out who gave the order to not just shoot and kill Gauri Lankesh, but the other three gentlemen who were clearly outspoken and opposing certain people in their views. Over the last couple of months, we've received several reports, colleagues of mine in the industry who have received death threats for what they do and what they say. It has perhaps never been more dangerous to be a journalist. And so if journalists continue to do what they do, it's not because they're anti-national, it's because they love their country. It's very easy to pick an easier, safer, cleaner job. What we owe Gauri Lankesh and the other three gentlemen who were killed was justice. Also, we owe these four people the peace of mind to know that this will not happen to anybody else. If there is an organized group, whatever be their religion, whatever be their ideology, they must be stopped. Because the evidence as it stands right now points us very clearly to the idea that all four murders were committed by the same hitman and were ordered by the same organization. It's now up to the police to find out who that organization was, and then up to the government of India to ban and outlaw that organization forever. We look to the government of India to take action as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching.